What problems are you likely to face when you hire a web design agency? Martin here from Jammy Digital, where we help business owners like you to make your mark online. If that's exactly what you'd like to do, then click on the subscribe button, then click on the bell icon to get notified the very next time that we release a video. So you may think it's a bit strange that as a web design agency, we are talking about the problems that you might face when you hire a web design agency. But we understand that if you have ever worked with an agency in the past, you have probably encountered problems. And if you've never worked with them, then you are probably going to encounter problems. And the reason behind this video is because we don't want you to face those problems and we want you to eliminate them before you end up choosing an agency. So we're going to go through a few of the problems that you're likely to face so that you can plan ahead and you can spot these problems if they're likely to happen. So problem number one. There is no confirmed project schedule from start to finish. This is really, really important. When you give somebody your money to initiate a project, whether there's a proposal, a contract, you need to make sure that there is also a fully planned out project schedule. This is really, really important. You need to know that if you pay your money on one day, what's going to happen the following week, what's going to happen the week after that, and what's required of you. This is the other reason that a project schedule is so important, because when we plan out the entire project, which is the first thing that we do as soon as we take on a new client, we actually map out all of the key activities that we're going to do, that what you can expect from us when you work with us. But there's also a few key dates in there that we require things from you. Things like content, website images, feedback, getting approval for the different page designs, for instance. That's something that we need help from you. So it's important that you keep to the schedule just as much as it's important that we stick to the schedule as well. And if you can stick to this schedule as much as physically possible, it's not always possible. We understand with holidays and delays on your part that it's not always possible. And there may be times when things get delayed on our part. If there's a super technical thing that's taken us a long time to solve, then there may well be changes to that project schedule. But there's going to be a lot less issues and a lot less delays if you have a document that you can all use and you can use as your Bible throughout the project. That's really important. Problem number two, you might not get to see the designs of your new website until it's partially built. This is a real problem. Some people have come to us before and they've said, I've tried to hire an agency before, they've built the website for me and I really didn't like it, and we've just kind of severed ties and we've moved on to other agencies. That's a real problem because it takes time and money to get to that stage. This is why you want to find an agency that will give you a few concepts first before they moved over to the design stage. So our process is that when we've done all of our research and planned out all the project schedule, we actually give you a few sketches and wireframes first. This is the very first thing that we do. So think about a wireframe as a to-do list. What's going to go where on your website? There's no design elements. It's very basic. We use boxes and grids and circles and squares just to plan out where everything's going to go. That's absolutely important before you move to the build stage, just in case there's anything missing that you want to add or anything that you feel as though you want to take away that isn't necessary. That's really important. You have to approve that first. And then we move on to the design stage, which is where we actually take that wireframe and then apply your branding, some images, some filler content so that you can actually see the overall style of the site. That's a really, really important step, and we always do the homepage first so that you know what your site is going to look like once it's been built, and only then when you fully approve it do we move on to the build process. So you get to see it at various stages. So when you hire an agency, you want to ask them about this process too. What do you do at the wireframe stage? Do you send me sketches, hand-drawn or online? It doesn't matter as long as I know that I'm getting it. Do I get to see the design after you've created it in Photoshop or Sketch or any other online tool? And then only when I've approved it, then do you build it? It eliminates a lot of the issues that you might have. You don't want an agency spending all that time building a site and going through all the stages if you don't get to approve the individual steps in between. Really, really important, and it's a problem that you might face unless you ask the agency before working with them. Problem number three, the agency that you're using don't understand SEO fully. This is a really important element, and it could very much affect your chances of ranking highly on search engines if you hire the wrong agency. So some people hire an agency based on the surface level stuff. Oh, they have a really nice website. The websites that they've designed are really nice. I can see myself working with that agency. But there's so many extra elements that go into a successful website, SEO being one of them. If you hire an agency and they don't fully understand SEO, then that's going to be a problem. You've already created a website in the past, presumably. You've already built some authority with the search engines. You've already got some links to the website. If they don't carefully transition from what you currently have to the new site, that means transferring all of the metadata over, making sure that you've set up 301 redirects, make sure that you've got all of the SEO technical stuff sorted during the transition, then you're probably going to lose rankings and lose traffic. It's really important that you hire an agency that have a good understanding of SEO so that you don't end up worse off. Problem number 4, you've hired an agency that say yes to everything that you ask. So they are a yes man or yes woman. Now this might not seem like a problem, but it is a big problem. So you're hiring an agency because they are experts in their field. You're hiring them because they presumably know things that you do not. Now, if you came to us as an agency and you said, this is exactly what I want, I don't need your advice, and we said yes to everything, then you're probably going to have a website that's not going to be as successful as it could be. When you're hiring an agency, you want to make sure that you're getting a good amount of advice as well. They are the experts, and that's exactly why you're paying them to build the website for you. If you just say, I don't care about your opinion, and I just want you to do exactly what I said, and discount all of the years of experience that they've built, then you're probably not going to have a successful website. So look out for this. This is really important. You need to make sure that you are getting that ongoing support and advice throughout the website project, whether it's in regards to the images that you're choosing, maybe you are talking to them about a blog and a marketing strategy, or you're talking to them about the content that you're using on your website to convert people from inquiries into leads. This is really important that you get a good sense that they have the knowledge, and what you don't want is to work with an agency that just say, just send us what you want to put on the website and we'll put it on the website. That's the last thing that you want, and it's probably going to mean that the website is not as successful as it could be. The 5th problem you're likely to face is you don't get an awful lot of communication from the agency. So what usually happens if you deal with an agency, they'll take your money, they'll take your information, and then they'll just go off and try and build a website that they think is going to be a great website, and that's fine. But in the meantime, they're doing lots of website stuff and you're just not hearing back from them in regards to what step they're at and where they're up to, what they might need from you. And you won't know until later down the line if there are going to be any delays. This is why it's so important that you have a project schedule, but it's also important that you speak to an agency and you say, how much communication am I going to get from you throughout the project? What am I going to get at various stages? Is this going to be a phone call, the communication, or is it going to be, are you going to send me things like images? How are we going to communicate? It's really important. We actually like to send people videos throughout various stages. So this is what your homepage looks like, and we'll record our screen and we'll say, here's what we've put here and here's why we've done that. Here's what we've put here and here's why we've done this. And we'll guide you through the designs that we do. You then approve them, and then we move on to the next stage or next page. It's really important that you outline that communication from the get-go, otherwise you're going to be frustrated later. Problem number 6 that you're likely to face is the costs may well increase. And again, this kind of follows on from a lack of scheduling, a lack of communication, and what can sometimes happen is they come to you at the end of the project and say, actually that thing took us a little bit longer than we expected, so we're going to have to charge you for that. That's not what you want. If you have a budget in mind and you set that budget and you sign an agreement, then try to stick with that. Is there any reason that these costs could increase? Based on what I've said I need from my website, do you think this is the final cost? That's what you want to ask the agency. It's very rare that when we take on a client that we have to charge them more. You know, there are some things throughout a project that change and tweak, but we'll always try and keep with that price that we initially agreed. If you're not getting that, then that is a sign that the agency might just be trying to earn a little bit of money on the back end. That's not what you want. It's really not. So be conscious of that. Ask questions up front to make sure, is there anything that you can foresee that is going to make the cost of this project increase? If they say yes, then get as much information as you can from them at the get-go about what might increase that cost, and if so, what might decrease that cost. You'll be lucky if you can get that one, but it's always worth asking. Now, it's worth pointing out that we know lots of amazing agencies and you aren't always going to face problems, but it's good that you are aware of the potential problems before you hire anybody, even if there are amazing agencies out there. It's really important that you have this information. So I hope you found this video useful. Let me know if you've got any questions. Now, if you want to know more ways that you can improve your website, then download our free PDF. Here we give you 54 ways that you can improve your website and get more sales through it. So go to jammydigital.com/54 ways.